So hey, you're here for another episode of Drift Smart with your host Rome Charpentier. We have one of our good friends Derek over here hiding in the back from Magnuson.
What's going on?
And we're actually at Magnuson headquarters in Ventura, California. And we're actually gonna go for a walkthrough. So as you've seen in the show, we have what is it called? The little I don't even remember. It's something or other. Oh, like shop walkthroughs. This is, instead of being a shop walkthrough, this is a full-on like manufacturing walkthrough. So we just want to show you the inside of Magnuson, kind of what they do, why we run Magnuson, and yeah, go for the tour. So here we go. What way are we going first?
So we're actually gonna go, let's actually go through receiving.
So we're going through receiving.
Go through.
So we'll start back up once we walk over there because it's a little bit of a jog.
Well, welcome to Magnuson. This is where it all begins. This is where we get our shipments of raw parts, of parts that we need to machine, parts that we need to put on our shelves. Literally every single part of every supercharger passes through this exact spot at some point in its life.
Nice. So they all started here before we rip on them.
Yes.
Look, there's like boxes of housings. This is the beginning of all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
So once it gets into here, we basically put them on these parts if they need to go to our assembly production department, or it goes through our receiving team and they bring it into this area. So as you can see, we have a massive, extensive warehouse and collection of parts. All of the stuff is assembled here in the States.
Oh yeah, look at all the parts over there, just stacks of parts.
Yeah,
on shelves.
All of those parts have been past the machining process. We'll get to that in a few minutes.
Oh, okay,
here.
so we're going that way first or this way first? What way do you want to go?
Let's go through this way.
We'll go this way. All right.
So as you can see, we have everything pretty well organized with our heat exchangers, and basically we have so many different things that we
variations
carry.
too.
We have to keep them all, just so whenever you guys order a supercharger kit, we have those things ready to go. And to
look at all these things. There's tons of them. Oh, is this the actual like worm screws?
Yes. So these are rotor packs, and
rotor packs, not worm screw things.
So these are actually what make your supercharger whine, what make the power in your engine. And we get all of our rotors from Eaton. They are...
Hey look, that's the top of my blower right there.
There it is.
So Eaton worm whiny things.
Yes.
Right?
Rotor packs.
Rotor packs. Rotor packs.
So,
hey, look, there we go. A snout.
Yep.
It's a lonely snout. Oh, no, there's his friend over there. Another snout.
This contraption right here, once we receive raw parts and stuff, we make sure, or after they've been machined, we send them through this giant washing machine to make sure there are absolutely no debris in the supercharger, any of the components. The reason for that is the rotors are so tight into the housing that any kind of debris could definitely cause an issue down the road. So we want to make sure that everything is very clean. Obviously we have these giant doors right here to make sure that nothing can get in there.
So let me ask you about that.
Yeah.
I saw a couple cars out there in the parking lot. Not gonna say whose. With no air filters on them. Do you recommend running a blower with no air filter?
Running an air filter is definitely a must if you're daily driving your car.
Okay.
If you're doing any kind of racing, obviously a filter is
still recommended.
Recommended for sure.
Okay, I was just wondering. I mean, yeah. I saw like there's 2 or 3 cars out there that have no, like, you can just look right into a snout, which is cool. But he drove it here, so I was like, I don't know if I'd be driving around a car with a blower on that sucks air in with no air filter on it.
Yeah, definitely not.
That doesn't seem like a setup for longevity.
Yeah.
Well, what room is this? So primary hardware, it says.
Yeah, so the primary hardware. So this is where all of those parts that we just saw that we received, this is where they come in, and we have a few guys working here along this line, and they put everything together. As you can see here, we've got intercooler barbs for the intercoolers on the supercharger. We've got connecting parts to go from the pulley to the
what are those? What rotor pack is that?
I believe those are actually 2650 rotor packs.
Yes, we're gonna try and get one of those.
So
2650.
These are all of some more parts to go through. So this is actually a super cool part of our building because this is actually our test facility.
Uh-oh.
So after all of those get assembled, we actually put a supercharger onto a test stand just like this one, and we run it for a predetermined amount of time at about twice the amount of boost that we would normally send the kit out with, just to make sure that everything is 100% good to go once you put it on your car.
So I want you guys to notice something. Look at how clean this room is. That means they haven't blown a lot of stuff up. It looks like they've not destroyed a lot of things here. Have you guys ever blown stuff up?
No. Our superchargers are extremely well made, and the design process actually keeps us from destroying these things. So as we're building these superchargers and we're designing them, we make sure that the tolerances are so tight, but they're also very, very safe, so that, you know, when you're using these things out on the street or on the racetrack, you're good to go. You're not going to have issues.
What is this blower for, this one?
So this supercharger system is for a 6th gen Camaro, or
so like an LS3?
LT motor.
Oh, LT motor.
Yes, so LT1 or LT4.
That is crazy. So big boy.
This is a big boy.
Well, how big is this one?
This is also a 2650 supercharger.
2650, but a flat version of 2650. All right, let's keep going. What is that?
So that one, this is a prototype for our new port injected supercharger systems. So we're just in the initial design phase of that.
That thing is huge. So this is a top secret. You're not allowed to see this, but check it out. Look how big this thing is. Look at how big the coolant passageways are.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
that
this
is
one
what's needed.
We're extremely excited to.
What does this machine do?
So this actually presses in bearings to the housings that keep the supercharger rotors from interfering with each other.
Oh wow.
So it's a giant pneumatic press that pushes in those bearings.
Oh, there they are.
Yep.
All right, on to the next.
So once that gets all done, we're gonna go over here, and this is where we box up these superchargers, we bag them, and it kind of goes down through this conveyor system here. So we actually have a 2-part process here at Magnuson, depending on which kit you purchase. If it's just a head unit for a race application, then this is kind of the end of that story. But if you purchase a supercharger kit for your Camaro or for your Silverado or whatever, actually up in that area up there, we make all of the accessories. So that's where we put together all of the, you know, the brackets, the pulleys. We have all of the intercoolers, the intercooler lines. And so that gets made up there. The superchargers get made down here. And through a very well, you know, well thought out process, they kind of meet at the end. And we keep the superchargers here in case we're waiting on parts from there or vice versa. And you can see
you have, we see that you have a couple of them.
Yeah.
Hey, I see a Volvo back there.
Maybe we'll get to that one later.
Yeah, I want to get to that Volvo. Look at that Volvo wagon. It looks like. Uh-oh.
So
that's what we really came in here for.
Heck yeah. So yeah, and then once all of that gets done, this is our shipping department area, and this is where they await our UPS truck, and everything kind of converges here. We slap on stickers and packing labels for you guys, and they leave that not an exit sign right there.
Yep.
And yeah, that's kind of the process here at Magnuson.
Dude, that's super cool. What are these middle tables?
So these are also building stations for superchargers, similar to that line that we saw earlier.
Got it.
So these typically house different product lines. So ones that might be a little bit more involved.
Oh, like more assembly involved?
Exactly. They're going to get built in this area right here.
Hey, this looks like mine.
Yep. So this is basically identical to your supercharger.
Oh, it's a 2300?
It's a 2300 heartbeat.
Perfect.
And
this is what they look like with nothing in them.
Yeah.
This is the empty heartbeat. It is super cool. All right. And then that's the casing. So that's where the heartbeats get built. What about these? What is this?
This looks like it's a tub for some kind of truck Radix kit.
Okay.
And yeah, so they build those here.
And then what's this?
These are our current 2650s.
Oh, see, this is what I came to see right here.
So these are...
They're a little bit big to fit in the pocket though. They won't fit in that pocket very well. I fit the whole camera in there, but they will not fit in my pocket at the moment. Look at this. This is super cool. So are these clamps so you can hang it from your cage? Are those cage clamps?
Yeah, once you're done racing, you take it off and for storage.
And just to hang it up? Wow, this is significantly taller than the Heartbeat.
Yes. Yes, it's much taller, and the reason for that is we have a giant intercooler that's sitting in here. Fortunately, I don't have one outside, but basically it's about that thick and about that long, and it sits in here, and there's such a high fin density that these superchargers we've actually reported as they go down the drag strip, the IATs go down. So the intake air temps go down the harder you use it.
So I've heard that. This is the second person that I've heard that from. I thought the other guy was just making it up, but now you hear it from him at Magnuson. It actually cools down as you drive the vehicle, which is definitely needed in drifting. And these are the shafts?
Yes, so those clamps that you hang the supercharger from your roll cage.
Yes.
Actually, they're used to hold on to these milled out aluminum housings, I guess you could call it, for these carbon fiber shafts.
Look at how cool this is. And it's real carbon, right?
Yes, real carbon fiber.
To make it lightweight?
Yep.
To spin fast?
So, yeah, so we use the carbon fiber just because it's strong. It doesn't have a whole lot of flex in it. The steel stuff tends to flex.
It bounces, right, with RPM.
Exactly, the
that
faster that you go. So.
And how fast is that little shaft spinning?
Oh, thousands and thousands of RPM.
So more than a drive shaft, obviously.
Yes, much more than a drive shaft.
That's good to know.
That shaft is probably spinning anywhere between, depending on how hard you're using the blower, anywhere between 18 to 25,000 RPM.
A lot. Look at this though. This is what I'm most interested in. Look at how big these water ports are. I don't know how I could show you. I don't have a tape measure, but I mean they're big enough that, you know, they're probably a dash, what, 12?
It's a dash 16.
So that's a dash 16 water port. I mean, the whole camera fits inside the water ports. So that is what keeps these things ultra cool. Oh, there we go. So TPS sensor, water port. They're almost the same size. It is super crazy. So that's what keeps these things super nice and cold.
Yeah, so we're super excited. This is kind of this is our Halo product, so to speak. And of course, coming up next year, we have the new introduction of the 3100 series system. That'll be very, very similar to this.
3100.
3100.
So do I just write? Can I just write my name up on the board, and you can just? Will they just make? They just make one?
Yeah.
Just be like Rome, just one for Rome. There we go. Look, so that's the one they're gonna start on next. Is the one for me. It's what, a 2650.
2650.
2650, buddy. Look at that. Just simple like that, and we're gonna be good to go. We're gonna get one of these things on the race car. It looks like it's gonna stick out of the hood quite a bit, so you will see it in action out there on the racetrack for sure. So cool. Is there anything else?
That's it. That's Magnuson.
I want to say that's it. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. So. But awesome. Well, hey, thank you for watching this episode of Drift Smart here at Magnuson Superchargers. And stay tuned for more information, more things coming up. And actually even stay posted. We might have some bonus footage for you 1 second. This is some super bonus information that blew my mind. So I had to come back over and film this. So this is the new 2020, right? Yes. They're filming this. This is the Magnuson blower package on it. I asked him, I was like, hey, what happened to you guys' white one? Where's the white one?
So that's currently down south getting tested to be California carb compliant.
So you're telling me we can put a Magnuson blower on something and be carb legal?
Yeah, about 80% of our supercharger kits are carb legal.
Look at that.
In California.
80% of them are still street legal in California to make twice as much power or however much power you want to make out of these things. I mean, we make close to 1,000 in hours, or just over 1,000, and these things can be street legal. That is insane. I did not know that. That's the number one reason to buy Magnuson right there. Not because they last forever, not because they run and make insanely amount of power, not because they stay cold, but because they're still carb legal and you can drive down the street in this thing.
Absolutely.
That is insane. So, yeah, that's the coolest part of the day. I just want to send that to you guys. Yeah, that's a cool update. So, Magnuson, the 80% of them is carb legal. You can strap them to your vehicle and not go to jail. At least for the emission part of it. Driving, that's on you.